Hey guys, I'm the helpful pal here, ready to help you how to beat chapter 6, the stupid ass puzzle which gives 5 stars. It's not up, it's right there. See? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for people who can't count. Anyways, so let's start explaining how to beat chapter 6, and let us start off with part 1. There's only one reason why I end up doing this intro, and you'll see why later, don't worry about it. Also, I'm just gonna comment, this is nighttime for me, nighttime recording, woo! So, yeah, I pray I don't lose my mind due to lack of sleep. So let's just start with chapter 1, part 1. I can skip this dialogue, no one cares, I don't care about it yet. I'm not doing lore videos, I'm just doing how to do the puzzles, Why? Cause I'm the helpful pal. Someone kill me, please. Also, I just like say, once again, just like the Easter Bunny hidden escape room, I hate you three, Kennedy, Kirby, and Andrew. I hate you three so much. And yes, I did use hints. I don't care. Because I need to figure out how to explain it to you guys, right? I need to make sure. So, when you spawn, you're gonna see all this stuff. You're gonna see these 3 posters on like this. I'll put it up on the whiteboard later. You see these 3 TVs. I'll put it on the whiteboard too. And you'll see these 4. I'll put down the whiteboard too. I'm not gonna put those stuff on the whiteboard because yeah. So alright, this is gonna be the explanation of part 1. I'm gonna be making some disclaimers right now. Firstly, the order, the positions of the numbers, those things, it's not all the same. There will always be a certain number of each status, which is guaranteed, but it could be all randomized and different. The numbers are also all randomized and different, but all these blueprints will remain the same except for the layout. So for example, this may not be 1766, it could be something like 1598. Or this thing could be acid, but on another save file, on another match, this could be smoke for all you know. So with that out of the way, I will first explain how to solve this kind of puzzle. Okay. So first thing you want to take note is this, the tram system. So basically, if they basically tell you that you have to verify the status of these rooms, and you want to, and when you label, if the room contains multiple dangerous effects, you want to basically choose the one that's most dangerous. For example, if one has smoke and electric, you prioritize electric over smoke, putting the status as electric. Now with that out of the way, let's start explaining the emergency procedure. Fire create toxic smoke. So basically fire leads to toxic smoke. Toxic smoke in any room will spread throughout the rooms in sharing the same ventilations. For example, if C has toxic smoke, these 2 rooms will also get toxic smoke. The lines mean nothing. Okay? The lines and sectors and Hanopix HQ all mean nothing. Next, if there is a toxic smoke in the room, the sprinkler system of all rooms sharing a sprinkler system will activate. Meaning, for example, remember how I said C is toxic smoke as an example? Let's continue. If C has toxic smoke, that means these sprinkler system will activate, meaning these 3, the sprinklers will be on. But keep in mind, it's not acidic water, it's normal water. So that means that if the case of C getting toxic smoke, these 3 will get the toxic smoke as well. These 2 will get toxic smoke, which is these 2, meaning sprinklers B and D will all activate, which means this, and this, the sprinkler system will all activate. Next, if non-acidic sprinklers turn on in an electric control room, it will be electrified. For example, if this room has the sprinkler on because of A being on, for example, That means the electronics will be electrical. However, I do want to point out the next rule. If it's an acidic sprinkler, not a non-acidic, into an electric control room, it causes a fire. Which means that if this is actually an acidic sprinkler and not a normal sprinkler, this thing would not be electric. This would be labeled as a fire. Next, if acidic sprinklers turns on in a room with a flood, all flooded rooms become acidic regardless of the sector and where they are. This will be important later. I'll explain what it means. Finally, if a non-acidic sprinkler turns on in any other room other than an electric control room, nothing happens to it. Meaning that it is safe to enter unless something else is happening. With that said, I have labeled all of these white as safe. So let's actually move all these here. Sorry, I did not plan this, but now you know how I do stuff. So with that out of the way, let's start by solving this room. So the first thing that you should probably want to check out is the easiest one, which is warning: fire in room 8462. 8462. Is it 5 or 2? Oh, 6. My bad. So we can immediately put this as a red. 8462 is right here. It's a fire. So let's start from there. This is a fire, which means smoke will start to activate thanks to rule 2. So that means that because of this, the ventilator system A, these two will host as smoke. So what are these two rooms? 6377 and 7149. So let's start by labeling these as purple because these two now have smoke. Now I do want to point out 8462 also has smoke, but since it has fire inside, okay, hold on. Yeah, Thomas Slade guy, the Fabio guy, interrupt me a bit. Sorry. I'll help him later. Don't worry. So I do want to point out, room 8462, although it has smoke inside, it also has fire, which means fire takes priority because it's the most dangerous out of all. Next, let's check the sprinkler system. Sprinkler systems C, A, and B are all activated, which means every single one is basically all activated. So let's check which areas are electric. As you can see, 2598 because this is yes, and this one over here, 8073. How did I get 80? Oh, it's up there. 8073 are both electrical rooms, which means that they are electric for the time being because oh sorry, 2598, because both of them are electrical rooms. Because of the sprinkler, it activates the electrified room code. Now nothing else is affected by it, so that is fine. But however, actually, is that it? Yeah, that's kind of it so far, really. That's kind of it so far. Next, I do want to point out, let me think. How do I want to explain this? So now we have this. Let's check, which one do we check again? My bad. I need to remember how. Okay. Warning, sprinkler system A is acidic water, which means that this thing is actually dangerous. So remember how we put 2598 as electrified room because it's like right over there? Well, since A is acidic water, this is not an electrified room, it's a fire room. It has fire. So it's actually not yellow, it's red. Now, because of this, it is in D, which means vent D will have smoke, meaning 8186 purple and 2953 will both be smoke rooms. Confusing so far? Good. because that's what it is. It's meant to be confusing. Next, because these two are smokes now, their sprinkler system will activate. C is already activated, so we can ignore that, but D, the water sprinkler, will activate. As you can see, nothing is important yet other than this room up here because it's a yes, which means 9427 is an electrified room. We're almost there. Do not worry. Next. Warning, these three rooms are flooded. 7316 right over here. 8495 right over here, these two. And finally 1766. So these are all where's 1766? Right here. So these are all watered now, right? Are all flooded. But remember, sprinkler A is acidic. So not only 1766 is acidic, which is what I should have said from the beginning, but because the other two rooms are flooded along with 1766, 7316 and 8495 are both acidic too. Lastly, A is also acidic, so that means that 6377 is acidic now because the acid takes priority of the smoke. And this is how you solve this puzzle, the part 1. Do take note that there will always be 4 acid rooms, 3 smoke rooms, 2 fire rooms, 2 electric rooms, and 1 safe room. So you just want to place them in there. Remember what I told you, the numbers are always different, the order of the colors are always different, but as long as you manage to get 4 acid, 2 fire, 2 yellow, 2 electrified, 3 smokes and 1 safe, and the light on top instead of the locked door, instead of red it becomes green, you should be safe to go. So as you guys can see, after you put in all these things right, based on like what the code is, then you could open this. This thing will turn green, by the way. This thing will turn green. You can't click anymore, but it can turn green, and then you just escape. And that's how you do part 1. Stay with me. There's 2 more parts. Part 2, we are back. So this part is all about saying like how you have 40 minutes, blah blah blah, no one cares. And boom, you're back in chapter 2. Everyone loves that a lot. So let's skip all this first, and I'll first explain why are we gonna do whatever it is next. Also, but there's nothing in the maze, by the way. If you memorize the path on how to do the maze from chapter 2, good for you. But if not, then just run around and figure it out. Yep. So the reason why is because this guy dead guy here, by the way. He's so dead. Like, he is so dead. He's not alive anymore. He failed chapter 2. No, chapter 6, man. This guy is so dead. What a noob. So what happened here is he actually kind of helped us. He actually got this, translate this all for us. So the first one, they say the first room use arrival time instead of departures. So let's go to room 1. Room 1, by the way, is actually the train breakdown room. Basically, this whole shenanigans. What is this? What is this? You know? And there's a keypad here. So I'll explain why do we have the keypad later. So first, let's explain how do you solve this room to get this code. How he get to open the or unlock this door. So first, you have to understand that this is a clock. It has a long hand and it has short hand. So let's go up here. This is a circle, and hey, it looks like there's 12 numbers, and this seems like it's 12. So we should be facing this way, right? Wrong. As you remember, there's a long side and a short side. This is the short side because the train got killed and got in half, you know, like, and then you have this is the long side. So basically 12 is here. 12, 1, 2, 3, you get the gist, right? But it's all different numbers. So why do we have different numbers? This is the next part. So let's look at the posters again. Remember how chapter 2, we have to check the posters for the numbers to get the code for the first room. This is exactly what this is kind of doing again. For example, Chartworks is the first step. First, remember first. First step, you go to Chartworks. Second step, you go to no, not this one. Sorry, my bad. Is it this? Nope, doesn't seem like it. Nope. I lost track. My bad. My bad. Oh, there. Second step. Second in Fraser. Second, you want to visit Fraser as number 2. Third step, where do you want to go? You want to take a trip to Eltray. Remember Eltray? Yeah, chapter 5. I hate that chapter. Voted third cleanest city in Leicester. So basically you want to go there as the third. So, but of course, if you go back here, I should also explain this. I say this in chapter 1. It's a 4-digit code, so there must be 4 places. So there should be a 4th place, and the 4th place is to visit New Verna. New Verna. See, walk back and forth across Leicester's tallest bridge. So and remember how this clock says you have to pay attention to the hour your train departs. So let's pay attention to the departure time. So first we want to go to Chartworks. When does it departure? 1 p.m. Next we want to go to Fraser. When does it departure? 12 p.m. Third is Eltray with 7 a.m. And finally there is New Verna with 2 p.m. So let's go back up. Remember, perspective 12 is here. So 1 is 4. Let me type this actually. 4, 9. 7 is right here. 8 and 2 is 7. So the code is 4987. And if you type in here 4987, it's correct. So that's the correct original code. So this must help me somehow. So remember how the first part we say on how you have to use the arrival time instead? So let's check the arrival time of the same places in order. So the train from Chartworks arrives at 11 a.m. Then Fraser comes in at 10, followed by Eltray at 6 a.m. and then New Verna at 12 p.m. So once again, we go back to the center. So we have 11, 1, 10, 3, 6, it's 6, who would have thought, and 12, 9. So keep this number in mind. I will type it down on my own personal note-taking area while I continue with the next one. So let's go to the second, let's go check what the second thing we need to do is. So the second thing we have to do is to basically how many newspapers are left on the wall. So first, let's go back to the second room because we need to go to the second room. See, I'm such a helpful pal. Sorry, wrong way. So once again, we have the code over here. We could enter. Seems like a 4-digit code, and the person helping us actually kind of helped us along the way. So left wall is 2. As you can see, this looks like 2. Middle wall is whatever these 2 numbers are, and right wall is 4. So the main important thing is that, dear Leicester Times editors, please see the note. We want to remove the critiques of the influx of AI as ordered by the GMZU, and the critiques on the way the GMZU or the presidency is made of powerful families born into power. So it's just like I'm not gonna say what I want to say, but as a history student, I would know. So let's check through each of them one by one. So this first one, it says AI, so we remove that. This one says nothing, nothing. You just want to read the main captions really. There's nothing, and then there is the AI puts local men out of business, so we remove that. AI fraud, we remove that. No one likes it. Yeah, ignore that. Wait. Yeah, ignore that. I think we're fine. Yeah. This one is fine. This one is fine. This is fine. This one says how our votes matter, so we remove that. Let's go down here. Presidential children absolved of all crimes, so we remove that. A lineage of power, we remove that. Parental privilege, we remove that. Sorry, I clicked this by accident. A family in power stays in power, I remove that. This one is fine. People with no power, remove that. Yeah, this is fine. AI, remove that. And hey, look at that! This is me. Look, see, I'm part of the game. See. Local philanthropist and tutor Jet has had enough. I had enough of you guys. You know, you guys can't read. You guys can't see. You guys can't think. I'm mad at you all. Video's over. Okay, but serious note, thank you so much for adding me to the game. And by the way, back to the original point, this is too much AI, so remove that. Unfortunate. I want my newspaper to be up there, man. And then AI cause machine attack, we remove that. And this one doesn't have anything. Can't spell pain without AI, move that. We're fine. Fine. AI doesn't know enough, remove that. AI poorly judges sport, remove that. Yeah, this is fine. I think. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, this seems fine. This is fine. This one says about how the bloodline analysis of our government, so remove that. Presidential pedigree, remove that. This is fine. Demand DNA test, we remove that. Presidential corruption, we do not want that. Oh, Jesus Christ. GMZU is corrupt, remove that. Blood is thicker than water, if you actually read into it on how they say the GMZU is corrupt, so remove that. Elections, no, wait. Yeah, this is fine, I think. Yeah, this is fine. AI statue sparks controversy, remove that. Remember that A means artificial, is talking about AI in GMZU, remove that. AI driving causes power up, we remove that. This is fine. Oh, don't mind my avatar. AI causes accidental shrimp explosion. Jesus Christ, I'm impressed. This is fine. This is weird, but this is fine. Stop the AI influx. Remove that. AI haircut has gone wild. Remove that. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. And finally, the bloodline is unfair. Remove that. So afterwards, if you take a step back, you realize that you get the whole code 2854. And if you want to confirm 2854, this is the original code which is used to open this hatch. So remember, we want to count how many newspapers are left on the wall. So let's count from there. We have 5, 5, 5, 15 plus 2, that is 17. We have 7, 7, 7 plus 3, 3, that is 27. So 17 plus 27, that is 41. And finally, we have 5 plus 6, that is 11. So 47, 58. Yeah, it should be 58. So yeah, 58. So add this number to 1369. You guys can have this on your own personal calculators for now. So this is how you generally solve that. And the final one we have to do is that double the code to the third room and enter it into a room to find the third 3 keypad. What time did the murderer check in? So first of all, how do you get this code over here? Because once again, it's another 4-digit code, so it should be fine. And guess what? There's a very nice note over there. It says that there are a few missing info on a few guests. Please put in the last digit of the following guest hotel rooms: Sketch Peterson, Ethan Fanock, Jazz, and Morgan Gray. So that's fine. We can actually check the room numbers here, and oh no, the room numbers are all question marked. Oh no. It's fine. Everything is fine. We can do this easily. First, let's check out Sketch Peterson. Sketch Peterson is interesting. Not really. I don't care about him. But he has a hung hat on a hat rack. And if you actually check the notes, there are a few other guests who also hang the rack hats on the rack. So let's actually type down all the room numbers there, because there's 4. So let's just type them all out because we can. 204, 204. Yep. And finally, this one is 107. So these are all the room numbers of the hats that are hung on the hat rack. So let's check through each one of them. So hung hat on the rack, so we know it's not 303. So this is actually how I do this. So you could actually see my thought process. 107, and this is done. That means we know that Sketch Peterson is in room 302. As we know, we want the last digit, so let's stick with 2. I'll save this on my personal area because I will need this even more. The next person we want is Ethan Fanock. Ethan Fanock left his suitcase here. So we can actually check the growth over here, and there is a whole list of numbers. 101, 103, 202, 205, 206, 208. This is the same method as a hat, by the way. It's the same method. You want to type down all the room numbers here. Then you want to check to each one by one. So 202 and 205 have left their suitcase here, so that 101, and very nice, left suitcase 303 again. This guy really loves leaving stuff behind. 303, 103, 208 gone. Then we have 309 gone, and if I remember right, did I miss one? Oh yes, 304. So we know that the last one is 206, as we know we want the last digit, so we want 6. I'll save this on my personal notebook, personal note-taking device, like I just said. So the next one we want to find is Jazz. Jazz is a very interesting one because here's the thing. Jazz has no suitcase or hat. How do we do that? Well, if you actually check this note over here, it actually shows Jazz's room number as 7. We know it starts with a 1, 0, and that's it. That's all we know. But let's take a look at all these numbers here. I'll show you why later. Let's take note of all of them, yeah? So if you actually check the keys, if they took a key, the key is missing, that means that the guest is staying in that room, because they have it, right? So let's actually go through one by one. 107, check. We have 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. The one we're missing is 104. Of course, we want the last digit, so let's just add a 4. And finally, we want Morgan Gray. Morgan Gray left his note. Wait, is there? Yeah. Wait, did I get? Oh yeah. Oh wait, no. It's this other one. It's my bad. Morgan Gray left a note on the napkin at the desk. So is this note over here? Let's click it. Hey Freddy, can you call me at 8 PM? Don't call after 8:15. I'll be busy. Thanks, you should know who this is. This is Morgan Gray talking to Freddy. So if we check the time, he wants to be called at 8 PM. So we have these two candidates, call from 204 to 203 or 204, 104. But as we know, don't call him after or at 8:15. Why? Because he'll be busy. So the only candidate is this 203. As we know, 203. This is the code. So no, not the code. We need the last digit. So it's a 3. So that means the code is 2643. Now, as we know, the final message here says double the code. So 2643 times 2. I will do the math for you. That is 5286. And this whole murder mystery coming. Hey, do you play Clue before? Clue is so fun. So remember Morgan Gray, the guy who left his note there? Yeah, he has been murdered. So let's figure out who killed him. You know, the good old murder mystery too. You know. So the murderer checked in before the person who received the most calls. Received the most calls. As you can see, call 2, the one who received the most calls is from room 206. Room 206, right over here, is before 12:20. So these 3 are out. The murderer also checked in after the person who made the most calls too. So we check over here. 108 is the most calls, and after that we could basically just check. We just get rid of this, and we go from Morgan Gray to Jazz around here. Yeah. The murderer did not leave a hat or on the hat rack, so that's fine. We could just ignore the hat later. And the murderer checked in at the time where the last digit matched the last digit of the latest person who checked in the suitcase. As we know, so as we check here again, we check this one. The person who left the suitcase is Michael Luton, the latest one. So we want to check the person with 5. So let's start from there and come down. So there's a 5 over here, but it's from Morgan Gray, the guy who has been murdered. He can't murder himself unless he goes suicidal mode. But let's assume not. Yeah, he got murdered, not kill himself. So ignore that. Then we just go to the next one because there's none. We have this one, but he hung his hat on the rack. But the murderer did not hung his hat on the rack, so we could ignore that. Same thing for Freddie Williams, and good old Jazz is the victim. So we wanted to check what his room number, what time did he check in? That is 12:05. 12:05. Let me type this down on the personal notebook. Yep. So you're gonna have 1369 plus 58 plus 1205. Add them all together. I'll do the math for you. 2632. Oh, did I do that wrong? Let's check. Nope, I did not. That means I messed up somewhere, and I hate myself. I think I counted the newspapers wrong. I can check again. You know, it's a good old checking again, right? Watch me end up counting a newspaper wrong, and I actually didn't realize this whole time. So we got 11. This is 27. That is 38. 55. Yeah, it's 55. So my bad. I'll explain again. So there's actually 55 newspapers back there. So that means the final code should be 2629. Call elevator. And you finish part 2. So part 3 is very interesting and is the most annoying part of this whole entire run, but guess what? That's the point. So first you want to go here, grab the spray paint. You gotta want to grab the wire cutters. There's a lot of stuff to take in, but I'll just show you how to do it. Because this whole you want to grab the rubble, pick up the wrench, and that's kind of it. So first one we want to understand is the workbench. The workbench allows you to craft 2 items together. If it works, then the combine lights up, or if you put in an item which can separate, you put it here and then press separate. So the first area you actually want to do is to figure out how to break this window pane. See, if only you have a way to break this glass. It doesn't seem to think. I just need something heavy enough. You would think the rubble is enough, but none of these rocks are big enough to break through this glass. But they are heavy. So what you want to do is remember the flashlight that is always with us since the beginning? Basically for every single room. Well, you can separate it. So for once in the game, the flashlight is actually useful other than using it as a flashlight. So you want to separate this, and inside you could fill the empty flashlight with rubble to get a heavy non-working flashlight, and after that you just throw it at there. So next, once you're in there, please grab the beaker up here. And yeah, pick up the sledgehammer and the towel shot. So you will see this and you will realize that more glass to break. This one seems a lot thicker though, and it's probably chemically resistant, so we can't use any chemicals if we want to use something heavy. Sledgehammer seems like it will work, but it's too thick to be broken like this. So what you can do is go back to the workbench. You could separate the sledgehammer into a stick handle and a mallet, and with the towel shot you can actually connect it with the mallet together to make a sharp mallet. You don't need to connect it back to a stick though, because you could just throw it there. But oh no, there's a fire. It's too hot to do anything around it. So what do? So first you want to go here, you inspect it, and you realize that this tank is held down by some screws or anything. But these caps are hard to remove by hand. So what do? You use a handy dandy wrench. So next, what you want, so then you want to try to get it this time, right? But these screws are completely stripped down. So how do you do it? Remember the beaker you got earlier? Well, if you go back here, this is nitric acid inside here, and you could probably fill up a container with nitric acid as long as it won't get dissolved. Empty beakers are all made out of glass, and you could get it safely because resistant materials such as glass. So why not, let's take that. And since the screws are holding the container down very easily, why don't we just use nitric acid to pick up the water tank. So finally, with the water tank, we can get rid of the water. But as you know, there is, you gotta be careful around this acid pool. So you want to get acid, right? You can't use the beaker anymore, so let's use an empty tank. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. And finally, we could input a code if we want. But it actually does nothing. Trust me, it actually does nothing. You could inspect it, and what's the code? If only there was a way around actually solving this. Why don't we actually do that with hydrofluoric acid? Boom, boom, let's go. So now we have a new code over here. This is actually 4-digit code this time. You remember to press R to input the code, otherwise you can't access it. And there is something very important here. Dear Diary, today we went over the lockdown procedures and what to do if blah 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 blah. At the meeting, they gave me my bedroom code, but they told me to never write it down, so I guess I used a line code they taught us. So the rotation key is boring, and the code is neck. This neck, curved, pointy, bracket, curvy wave, BS, F, O, small o, equal, and STX, 1, I, G, sub, colon, STX, and SNE. So and then so the line code they're referring to is actually this thing over here. So I'll go to the whiteboard to explain how you get the code. Alright, so now is the part where most of you guys probably skip the whole entire video just for me to start explaining it, and that is the line code. So basically what's gonna happen is that you have this whole code here from the note that you see with the keyword boring. So first, and it says how this person get it because of the lime code. So let's explain how the lime code works. Okay, these two are just summary, and this is just for the more in-depth instructions. So let's start by showing how do you convert from line code, from the normal words to lime code. So first, you want to convert the characters into binary. So the conversion list is all right here. I have it all saved, so don't need to worry about that. Next, you want to put the binary on a line. The binary will always be will have a total of 7 ones and zeros. So light green is 0 and dark green is 1 as they show. And meanwhile, while you're on that, the rotation key, you will get a keyword, and then you will generate an infinite repeating rotation key using this table. For example, lemon will be 55617 because L is in 5, E is in 5, O is in M is in 6, O is in 1, and finally 7 has N. So you're gonna rotate the line according to the rotation key, depending on like what position it is. So example of it would be, for example, the first one, if it's 1001100, you're gonna rotate it clockwise 5 times so that you'll get 0110010. I'll explain more in depth later, but you're gonna keep repeating it 55617, 55617. It's just like what is it called? Let me check the thing because I know I have it. It's just like Virginia cipher, where you have a keyword and then it has a repeating thing, you know, except it's on line. So you translate the line back into this, for example 0110010, as I say here, and you're going to convert the binary back into character, and then you'll get a whole new key, whole new encryption. So the person got the keypad, the key code to enter his bedroom, and it has converted the whole entire thing into this abomination. So it's fine, I'll help you decrypt the whole abomination, but I'm gonna explain along the way and how you do it, because you're watching an explanation video, not an answers video. Let's start with neck. Actually, let's start with the keyword first. This one is important. So following the key formation, we're just gonna follow as per usual. B is in 2. I'll zoom in for you. O is in 1. R is in 4. I is in 2. N is in 7. And G is in 7. So this is gonna be our keyword, and we're gonna keep repeating 214277 all the way until we get to the end. I'll save this here. Actually, I'll save this close by, like here. Yeah, because we don't need to see this. So the first one we have is neck. Neck, if you check the code, is actually 0010101. So let's bring it here. We're gonna rotate it twice. I'm gonna show you how to rotate it by just typing zeros and ones without needing a whole line diagram. So you're just gonna count how many you're gonna rotate. You just delete that number. So I delete the first two and I put it behind. So now you're gonna get 1010100, which is gonna be a capital T, as shown in this diagram over here. This is a square bracket. No, not really a square bracket, but it's a curly pointed bracket. And this is gonna be a 1111011. Drag it over. Let's do the keyword thing again. You delete 1 at the front and put 1 at the back. And then after that, when you check the whole keyword, when you check the whole thing again, you're gonna realize it's a lowercase w. Next one is a squiggly. It's squiggly. How do you call it? Squiggly? Okay, whatever. It's gonna be a 6 ones and a 0. Rotate it 4 times, so let's delete the first 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And then with the reference of this, you're gonna realize it's a small o. Ooh. And you kind of get the gist already. You're just gonna get the whole thing slowly by surely. Sometimes if you get a 7, the trick is to actually not do anything, because the 7 is actually 1 full rotation. So you could just keep it the same as it is. That's the trick. So I can't explain how you kind of do it. I'm just gonna tell you the answer really. This is actually a space because there is 1 for a space right over here. This is a small u. This is a small r. Sorry, I pressed T by accident. This is a space. This is a E. These two are 7s, so you don't have to do anything. So you have a H, then a T, then this is a space, then this is a O, and the last two are the 7s. So this is N and E, they remain the same. And afterwards, you're gonna realize the final code you get are actually all numbers. They're all numbers written in words. So I'm just gonna move all these here. Yeah, I'm gonna move all this. Yeah, and then you realize the final 4-digit combination is 2481. Alright, so so after you get the code, like I said, go up here, okay, and then input the code 2481, and then you got it. I just need to take note that of something, but it's fine. Now you're here. So there are two areas you can interact. Number one, this area is that you need to get up this landing, but it's too high to jump to. And also, this area seems like a nice corner away from anything flammable. I will need a water break. So, what do you do? First, take the bed sheet. It's important, trust me. Did I take it? I took it. Nice. Nice. Let's go down there. And remember the room inside earlier? Well, so if you actually realize, you actually can pick up security cams. Make sure you take it one by one just to make sure you do not accidentally have less than you should, because trust me, it's gonna be important. So what you can do with security cameras is that you could actually separate them into scrap metal and the wire. So let's do that one by one. Let's do that one by one. So what do we do with the wires? Well, you could actually connect wires into a long wire. So let's do that. You need all 9 wires and metal, by the way, trust me. And then the 4th wire, long wire set. Boom. Oh no, one more. Sorry, I can't count these nowadays. Like, someone help me. So what do you do with the long wire? You just combine it together again. You get braided wire. So you just do it again. And again. And I got less than I should. 1 second. Alright, so I got my long wires here to make 2 braided wires. I swear I was hallucinating. And then you could make 2 braided wires to get a wire rope. So once you get a wire rope, you want to head back up here. Trust me on this. And then you want to use the wire rope. So why? Because you realize that, see this, and it goes around here. So you want to go up, that's why. I forgot to explain that, but it's fine. So once you inspect it, it looks like there's a gear missing. There is a diagram of each gear though. That could come in handy. So it will come in handy because you could actually use all your 9 scrap metal on it. So you want to use all your scrap metal on it. And yep. Yeah, you can trace the outline of the missing gear into this metal. For what reason, you may ask? Well, if you go down here, going back to the workplace, the workbench, you do one by one gear outline with wire cutters. So you combine and do all 9. 2, 4. So I'll just quickly do all these. as fast as possible based on my ability, you know. Oh, sorry, wrong one. So, but the so if I'm gonna not show you the next part if you try to use the thing gear into the generator, but if you do it says it's way too thin. So how do you do it? So basic knowledge tells you that soldering, you use heat to melt the metal and so that it solidifies because of the cool air around it allows it to mold metal together. So that's actually what we're kind of doing with thin gear. We want to do that, but how do you get the heat? We've already moved the fire from the lab itself, which is from chapter 4 by the way. Well, to explain that, oh my god, I'm dying. Let's start on how to make a makeshift flamethrower. I don't think that's how it is supposed to work, but sure. First, basic electronics tells you that connecting a wire around the battery, just a wire with no resistance, gives you a short circuit. If you don't know that, now you know. Next, you want to have a short circuit with a spray. Sorry, my bad. Bed sheet with a stick handle to get a torch. Unlit torch specifically. So you just want to put the short circuit over an unlit torch to get a torch. And to make a flamethrower, all you gotta do is spray the paint onto the torch. Ta-da! Makeshift flamethrower. Don't actually do this in real life, please. That's arson. So, what you're gonna do is, remember this area where it's like a nice corner away from anything flammable? Well, let's start by placing every single one of the thin gears here. This is where we start using all the items, and then flamethrower it. And then pick up the gear. God, that was hot. Whew. And then you just place the 22th gear. So now it's time the final puzzle of the game. If you have completed this, congratulations, you will be officially one of the people who beat the entire game. However, there is this gear puzzle. So after a few failing to remember, I bought the hint just to a solution just so that I could remember the solution, and I have it here with me. 8 over here, 26 here, 18, 22, 16 is right here, and then you have a 28, and then you have a 32 up there. This one is 14, this one down there is 30, then this is 34. Do you have a 24 over here? Do you have a 12? You have a 20, and then you have a 10. Boom. So after this, there's only one thing left to do before you can press that button. Power up. This button lights up. Disable security, and boom. Congratulations. You have completed chapter 6, the final chapter of season 1. Helpful Pal here, signing off.